What's up, everybody? It's your boy Phil Shock of the 96 Hedgehog here with our RGBL draft analysis. You guys are excited and hyped like I am. Leave a like if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new. Join the Phil Shocker crew today because you'd be thrilling with the crew. Hold on. Oh my god. Oh. Let me say that again. What's up, everyone? It's your boy Phil Shocker of the 96 Hedgehog here with another draft analysis with the RGBL draft analysis. If you guys are excited, leave a like if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new. Join the Phil Shocker crew today because you'll be filling with the king of the crew. I don't know why I'm butchering my own intro lately. I don't know why, but yes, we are back for RGBL for our fourth straight season. Fourth straight season. Last season was our third season. We almost won the championship. If we had just gotten that burn off of Rotom Heat, we would have won the championship. No ifs, ands, or buts. We would have won our seventh championship. But sadly, due to a turn one miss, we did not get our seventh championship. And we were so close to fighting it back. But a damage roll in the end after being -1 defense. That Urshifu lived as well. But we're back for redemption, and I went hail last time. Let's just say this time around, the weather is coming to me. But you guys are excited. Definitely, like I said, leave a like. Comment down below what you think of this team, because I think it's our most creative team I ever built before. So I had the 12th pick out of 16 coaches, I believe it was. So yeah, we really got a terrible pick, to say the least. We got a terrible pick. But I think we walked away with some big steals to get around. So first pick overall, I was thinking to myself, okay, what do I want to get? I want something that's a little comforting. I want something that's probably not gonna make it back to me, even if there's a chance it could. I don't want to risk it. So no surprise, no surprise. I pick up Zeraora. I know we've been using Zeraora lately in the Red League and everything, and I think we might be using another league. I don't remember, but Zeraora to me was it's too good to pass up, man. It's just way too good to pass up, especially when you know it's not gonna make it back to you. And plus, I've been really been wanting to use it more and more lately. I've had a little Zeraora drive lately. It is arguably one of the best, if not the best, electric type to use in Draft League because of just how diverse it is and how good it can be in matchups. But again, the main reason I grabbed Zeraora was one of the speeds here, which is really good. It's definitely 100% force Scarfers every single week. It is going to be one of those ones that play physical or special. It's a really good mon to use a bulk up, Calm Mind. It's also got a sub variant. It's also a potential mon that can actually be on toxic or defensive. Generally speaking, I think Zeraora can put in so much good work, and I really think Zeraora can actually do a lot of things for our team. And with the coverage it gets now with Play Rough or Spear, Blaze Kick, and all that stuff, it's just so good. It's so good. I'm really looking forward to how the rest of the team was going to go out. So I knew it would start off with Zero or that we had a really good fire pick. Going into the second round, I was a little surprised this was still sitting around, but I was thinking to myself, do I want to snag it? And I once saw Savage, who we faced as the Death Valley Chandelures in season 4, I want to say. He originally had this combo, but dropped it for G-Max Sword. But I looked at this combo, and I thought that this combo was disgusting. And I was like, I want to use disgusting. So with the second overall round, I went with Mega Venusaur. Now we have won a championship with Mega Venusaur. This is our WWC Season 5 champion holder with us. And Venusaur is it's Venusaur. You barely can break this thing. You need sun boosted hits. You need choice specs with fire and ice moves to even have a good chance to 2 KO this thing. This thing is so goddamn thick that you cannot break through this thing reliably. It's just so good. I thought it was a solid pick. I mean, plus, if I didn't pick it up, I knew someone was, and this is one of the best Zeraora counters in the game, because Zeraora cannot break through Mega Venusaur at all, unless it has a ton, and I mean a ton of support. So what I ultimately felt like was just, excuse me, again, I just felt like this was just a solid second round pick. Plus, gives me that grounded poison, gives me a sleep powder and leech seed user, which is also really good support with Venus with Zeraora, and plus Zeraora can break through most of any kind of bulky grass, but the only bulky grass that Zeraora was going to struggle was going to be Mega Venu, arguably Regu Venu, and Tangrowth. And now with having Mega Venu, I break through those two together on this combination. And again, Venu hates the flying types. That's where Zeraora comes in and builds the psychicness. We kind of got to build around a little bit of that weakness, but I think we can go around with it good. With my third overall pick, after having to wait so long, I cannot believe this was still sitting on the board. And instead of waiting for free agency to pick this up, I was thinking to myself, you know what? Let's make the magic happen again. And I went and scooped up my boy Driller, the Excadrill, our season 5 co-champion that won us that semifinals clutch game that we needed, and really put in the work in the playoffs and the regular season as well. Excadrill is just a monster. This is by far my most successful draft mon, and yes, it's only because of Sand, but this thing is so amazing. I think I've got, for love of this, like now I think the fourth or fifth time I've drafted it, and this thing has already had 50 plus kills, dude. 50 or 50 plus kills. This thing is just so good. This thing just has really very hardly switches. Only certain flyers like Mantine are the best switches you have left to this thing. Certain extremely bulky grasses like Tangrove and Tangela and stuff like that are the only best switches as well. Like Excadrill is a monster. Plus, with having a really strong move pull and bug coverage, rock coverage, ground coverage, steel coverage, flying coverage, even it's so really good. The only thing I say that kind of knocks Excadrill is it's slightly not defensive enough for teams, but ultimately with running that HP stat, you can just run like max defense impish and then just run either max HP or just run the rest and spend it up as well, and just have a really annoying defensive set. What was also really good about Excadrill is that for one, it gives me a rocker, which is really important at some points, and also give me a rapid spinner, which is really, really, really good. Rapid spin is really good support, especially since the drill can use that now efficiently outside of sand. That was another reason I grabbed drill. Is if I ever feel like sand or the other weather I have is a bad matchup, but Excadrill has just a phenomenal lead game. I can just run rapid spin and just be able to handle that thing. And I just definitely think drill was just way too good to pass up, so I had to grab it. So going into my next pick, I had to think to myself, okay, I have to get a sand setter, and I wanted to get the sand setter I wanted in the round I was going to, but I was thinking to myself, is anyone really gonna grab this one? So I decided to wait. I regret not waiting to get this sand setter because I felt like the sand setter could have waited till we got back. I wanted Slowbro. Slowbro was one of the best checks to this Pokemon, to one of those Pokemon, and arguably some of the other team members we have on the team. And I was just like, I need it so bad, but I didn't go for it, and I got sniped of it either by the end of the third round, or no. It was the either I think it was regardless in the fourth round or the start of the fifth round, one of the two. And I'm so mad I didn't pick it up when I did because I mean I'm not mad about the setter I got, but I should have picked up the one mon first before my setter. So, but that's on me, man. It's on me for not grabbing it when I could have had it in that round. But for the setter, by the way, in pick 4, we did grab Hippowdon. Now, Hippowdon was my very first ever draft league setter that I ever used paired with Excadrill, and that team brought home the semifinals that we ever did. And I think it was one of our big pushes to semis also, and it was also one of our most dominant seasons. I believe we had like a 12 weeks, 11 or 12 week season. Or no, I think we had a 16-week season or something like that. We went like 10 and 11 and 5. We were so dominant in our division, and we had to go against some of the toughest matchups in the world as well, and we were able to pull off some victories that I didn't think we could possibly do. So, Hippowdon by itself is not a bad Pokemon. It's a relatively good bulky Pokemon. It's a reliable annoyance with Slack Off and Toxic. It's a good Stealth Rocker as well, so Drill doesn't have to be pressured to be Stealth Rocker every single week. And what's really good about Hippowdon, it does get Elemental Fangs, it does get Rock coverage. It's not necessarily a Pokemon you can just sleep on being defensive all the way time. It can be very much offensive if I wanted to be it offensive. And I personally do think Hippowdon, in my opinion, is the best sand setter. Now, why do I say that? One, this thing's not weak to fighting priority, which is something that a lot of sand setters struggle so much when paired with Excadrill. I do admit that it does give me a regardless, I get a water weakness, but I don't get potential Spinef boost, so I'll give that credit. And I do get the grass weakness. But again, I don't have to worry about having a ground weakness with this thing. I don't have to worry about having a fighting weakness with this thing. I don't even have to worry about a steel weakness with this thing. There are three weaknesses that are relatively common in draft, being fighting, steel, and what was that last one I just mentioned? Oh god, ground. Those three typings are very, very common in draft league, and certain ground types can beat each other's ground typing. What is really good about Hippo facing off against certain ground types is that, like, say, Mammal Swan, for example, it's one of those ground types that does beat Hippo 1v1 and would be still beat any sand setter and just any sand team in general. But what makes Hippowdon better, again, it offers the hazard setting option, but it just provides an extra bulk option versus the kind of bulk you have to rely on with sand and anything like that. So that's what I really liked about Hippowdon. So going to my next set of picks, I was thinking to myself, okay, I need to get a dragon type, and I need to make sure I get myself a fighting type. I still need to get my water, my fire. I need to get a fairy type. I need to get all these cores built out. And I was thinking to myself, okay, what can I get? And I was looking at the board, and there was another tier 2 I couldn't grab since I grabbed a 0 point mega. And I was thinking to myself, you know what? I've never tried this Pokemon. Well, I might have drafted it once, but I only used like 1 or 2 league matches, and then the league just died, and I had to leave. So I never got to draft this Pokemon. So what I decided to do is I went and picked up my boy Komo Scale Mail. Now, for those who know what the nickname Scale Mail is, it's from High School DxD when the first time you see, and this is spoilers by the way, so if you don't want to be spoiled on what the scene is, it's like the season finale of season 1, so you don't want spoilers. Skip ahead about 5 minutes or so. But Scale Mail is when the time Issei Hyodo mentioned when he went into the Red Emperor's boosted gear, and then they said Scale Mail, and I felt like, oh, Scale Mail, that fits so perfectly with Komo. So that's where I got the nickname for. But what I love about Komo is not only being a dragon fighting type, it gets access to soundproof. Now, why is soundproof relatively good? And actually, all three of its abilities are really good. What's so good about soundproof? Well, here's the thing. Heal Bell, if it's correctly spaced on how it is, means that this thing can stop, I believe, you from getting any health back with what, I don't know what. But what is also really good about Soundproof is that things like Mega Gardevoir, Sylveon, they cannot run Hyper Voice, which is going to stop anytime you have set up Pokemon with Substitute, which I think is one of the biggest and key things to look out for there. Now, what's really good about Bulletproof, it stops things like Shadow Ball, it stops things like Sludge Bomb, it stops things like Moonblast, it stops things like Focus Blast. I still think Moonblast should be affected by Bulletproof, but it's not, but that's just me. And what's also really good about Como is Overcoat. What's really, really cool about Overcoat in this situation is that, again, I can't be affected by my own sandstorm. I don't get affected by hail. The only weather that can, like, there's no weather that can actually hurt me, which is really, really good. But what I just really felt like was really, really good with Komo'o here was just the fact that Komo'o was just it provided just so much for the team. It gave me the third Stealth Rocker, which is really good, and just so much great utility. Now I will say this: I cannot use Clangorous Soul. If I use Clangorous Soul, I either have to forfeit them on, or my match result in a DQ. So I have to make sure I remind myself not to do that. And the reason why Clangorous Soul is bound because if it's tier 2, this thing would have been a tier 1 Pokemon if that was allowed. So, what's really good is look at these stats. It can play physical, it can play special, it plays defensive, but defensive. It's got 85 speed, which is not terrible. I mean, it's not great to pair with something like Excadrill, or it's got 88 speed, but nonetheless, this thing is super offensive, super defensive. This thing can play so many roles and so many things. Dragon Dance sets, Autotomy sets, physical sets, bulk up sets, anything we want. It gets Boom Burst? I did not know that. When did it get Boom Burst? Anyways, what I think just provides Como so much on this pressure is that all three of its abilities work on this team every single week, and I just overall think it's a fantastic good Pokemon. Going into my pick that was kind of just right after it, not exactly, but it was Savale. Savale, surprisingly, was still on the board in round 6, and I knew if I didn't pick it up, it was going to get sniped for me. And I ultimately had to grab my Savali. And what's really cool about Savali, that base 95 speed tier, which is getting good because it can be a fast offensive pivot. It's a fast offensive mon if built correctly, obviously. But what's so amazing about Savali is why have one typing when you can have all the typings in the game, man? And I just felt like there were so many good things about Savali. And Savali getting a massive buff where it's multi attack attack. Multi attack attack is now base 120 instead of something like less than 100. And it gets stab off of its typing. And even normal Savali is really, really good. Like normal Savali with things like Life Orb, choice specs, and stuff like that. I wish this thing got Boom Burst. That would be so broken and so cool. But obviously not. What was also important about this, it gave me a second form of hazard removal with Defog, which is really, really good. Especially since this thing can play again any typing I want. So if I have a certain weakness, boom, I can be that typing. Boom, I can be that typing. Boom, 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 boom. Just like no way I can get wool by any certain typing. So there was that. So I felt like Savali was a good pick. I haven't used it in a while. I don't think I've ever really used it before, but it's definitely a Pokemon I do enjoy to like to use when I draft it. And I definitely think it could be a massive, especially with SD sets. That could be really good. Mixed sets as well. It just can do a lot for a team. So going to the next round, I knew I had to grab. So with my last 5 picks, I had to grab a fire type, I had to grab a fairy, and I had to grab water. And I don't care that all of you say I keep drafting this Pokemon, but in fairness, GATL basically done. No way we make playoffs. With the Red League, we were halfway through the season roughly, and didn't get a full experience. I want to use it one more time, okay? And plus, I was kind of somewhat panicking, especially not exactly panicking, but there was just I felt like nothing really left to me except maybe getting Alomola. But then I would have had to rely on Sabali being playing the fairy type a little bit, and some other situations. So I just didn't feel like that. So, but what again? We don't need to talk about Primaria that much. The main thing that Primaria got was Flip Turn, Hyper Voice, Liquid Voice sets can be really really good if we want to build for it. It's got really good move coverage, Calm Mind, Draining Kiss sets, which was really good. Choice specs abuser, it's actually a decently good Scurfer too if it's built correctly. Just overall, I felt like Primaria was just a fit. So going to the next pick, this was the pick that shocked well, not exactly everyone, but really made everyone go like, wait, what? What? Like, that kind of thing, dude. We drafted Torkoal, and that's what's really cool about Torkoal is that I'm not gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you guys this. I'm gonna tell you this, guys, right now. Torkoal is not terrible. Yes, for Sunsetters, it's the best Sunsetter, obviously, because who uses regular Ninetales? That's only if you want speed, and it doesn't offer anything besides speed. What's amazing about Torkoal is it's a good physical attacker, it's a good special attacker, it's a really good defensive Pokemon. Spidef wise, it could use a little help with, but other than that, Torkoal is so good. Torkoal actually has relatively good stats as well. It's got Shell Armor if you don't want to be critted. We got White Smoke in case we don't want stat changes, if we want to be a full physical Shell Smash Torkoal, which I'm really hoping we can bring one week and surprise someone completely, especially if they're really weak to fire types. What I really like about Torkoal is also that I actually once six out someone in APA, no, APM one time. I think it was the Juniors League. I actually six out someone with Torkoal on my team before, and it was actually pretty funny. And I actually didn't think it was gonna work. It was also at 2 in the morning, so I felt that was also really good. But obviously, if I'm drafting Torkoal for drought, I'm picking up an abuser, and I didn't really pick up as many abusers as I wanted. I could have picked up Victory Bell, but as you're gonna see for the rest of these picks, I didn't pick it up. The main reason why is because I want to try making Venusaur with this team, and again, I don't have to bring Sun every single week. And more times than not, if I'm bringing Sun, there's a decent chance I'm not bringing Venusaur because of the fact that one, I don't want to take the chances with Venusaur having to worry about those fire type hits because it can get a chance to be one hit KO'd. It has a chance to it's a guaranteed chance to be 2 hit KO'd. And what's also really cool about Torkoal is there's a third stealth, it's a fourth stealth rocker on this team, which is really, really cool. So it's definitely going to force people to prep with the heavy duty boots. And I just generally felt like this was such a good pickup to get. And I haven't used Torkoal in so long. I think about a little over a year now. So I'm really excited to grab Torkoal. I'm really excited to see how I use Torkoal this season. And hopefully have some fun with it. So like I said, I'm grabbing some Sunhead. So the start of the next somewhat wheel, not exactly a wheel, I picked up Jiraiya, the shift tree, and the reason why I'm naming it Jiraiya is just because, the hair. You know, the bush of Jiraiya. He's a ninja. He's got the sandals and everything, his shoes. But what I really love about Shiftry is, for one, I've never used Shiftry, which is really interesting. And base 80 speed set's not the greatest for. Actually, let me look at Venusaur. Is Venusaur's 80? I mean, we have Mega Venusaur, but those are technically different stats. Yes, base 80 speed set. So base 80 speed set's not terrible with some abusers. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This was not gonna be. I'm not gonna lie. I would have still picked up Shiftry, but I wanted Charizard for two reasons. One, solar power Charizard. Like, there's no switching to that thing. Another thing was it gave me a flying type, so I didn't have to run Hurricane. I can run Air Slash and still be a monster house of a penny, like a pusher of an elephant. But I didn't. And that's what sucks about this. So, I got sniped literally. I think on the round I was gonna get Charizard. I think it was the start of the next wheel, the start of the third to last round, and I literally got sniped. And the person that sniped it just said there was no good fire types or no good flying types left, so that's why he took it. I don't believe it, and so I was like, it's fine. I mean, there were still some sweepers, but Charizard would have been so perfect for this team. It would have, but we're just gonna have to rock with it and roll with it. And plus, I've never used this thing. I mean, yes, it's really fodder to bug. It's really fodder to priority, but it's got some good coverage. It's got access to things like Air Slash, Dark Pulse. It's access to Nasty Plot, Swords Dance. For setup under Sun. Generally speaking, this thing could just be a really massive monster. It could just also be a monster just in Sun by itself. It doesn't need setup to be good. So I don't know. I think that's gonna be a really cool mon, and hopefully we can bring Sun a couple of times this week and be able to really trick some people around. Also, for the reason I went dual weather, I felt it was a kind of a cool idea. I mean, we all saw me do dual weather with hail and rain, and that almost worked perfectly for us. We almost made playoffs, and we did pull off pretty much a 6-0 sweep with that one time with the Aurora Veil and going into the Swampert and everything like that we wanted to. So definitely was something I really wanted. So I think this is gonna be a really good setup, and yeah. So with my next setup round pick, with that next one that we were going back up for in the second to last round, I grabbed Muskie, my Stoutland, and I'm not gonna lie, you guys, the combination of Excadrill, Hippowdon, and Stoutland was my very first Sand Team core in Gen 7. In the first time I've ever drafted Sand when I make playoffs, and I wanted to pick it up for that specific reason when I have Hippowdon. And two, normal spam is super good. And this is one of these Pokemon where you gotta be very careful not to burn. And the reason why I say you gotta be careful not to burn it is because of Facade. Banded Facade. Banded normal stab. This thing will claim a life. If you do not have a ghost type, and your steel type is weakened to the point where it gets 2 in sand with Facade off of a banded Stallion adamant powered, this thing will just claim lives. I really like Stallion. Stallion was actually able to put in some good work for us in one part of the season back in the very first time I used Sand. Obviously, when we had NWC, we didn't get to do anything really. We could have had it potentially won if I had put Fire Fang on, like a smart man, but generally speaking, I felt like Stoutland was such a really good pickup, especially getting us a Ghost immunity along with Jiraiya. I felt like it was really important to get as well. So, generally speaking, I think this team just came out. And then it came down to my last pick. I got either my last Sun Sweeper in Victory Bell, which if I was gonna grab, I'm gonna let you know, if I grabbed Victory Bell, I would have dropped it for something like I would have maybe had dropped um I would have dropped my Mega Venusaur probably if I think Mega Charizard X was still on the board. I would have grabbed it for Charizard X for two reasons. I mean, yeah, second Dragon, but if Fire boosted Mega Charizard X, tell me that does not sound frightening and scary, especially if I get my last pick. But I ultimately went with the man, the myth, the legend himself that can live a banded head smash from a Tyrantrum. There you go, Shadow. And was the one Pokemon that helped us beat Sandy Sims in the WC Season 5 finals when we took down his Greninja, his Ash Greninja, and removing his choice specs. We grabbed Dollar, baby. Dollar was our webs user for that season. You didn't pick up a single KO, but he did it. He helped cripple things. He got webs up that matchup. He crippled the offensive pressure that Ashgren could have provided with those specs. And just, Grin. I mean, Dottler were so good. I had to get Dottler. Now, I may make some changes later in the season, but for right now, I'm going to rock with this team. If I feel like the Sun route is going to not be good, then I'm going to drop Torkoal and Jiraiya and pick up a new Dark type and a Grass type. Unless I really think I want to go full sand, and then just drop these two and pick up a different Fire type or Grass type. I'll think about it. It's definitely gonna be something I have to put on my mind and think. If I do happen to make transactions and stuff like that, I'll obviously let you guys know. But I might just stick with this for week 1, see how it goes. But yeah. If you guys are excited for the season, leave a like. If you haven't already, subscribe if you are new. Join the Phil Shocker crew today because you'd be for living the key of the group. But until next time, guys, I am Real Shocker, the Nice Hedgehog. I will see you guys next time. Peace.